What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Top 5 Sports Show with Jay Mclovin and myself. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. I'm still reeling over some of the selections from last night's draft, so I'm really kind of curious to see where these selections go today with the second and third round. It should be really amazing. I hope my Cowboys continue to make the smart decisions. But yeah, I'm doing well, man, Frankie. How about you?
I'm doing amazing. I agree with you. We had a crazy first round last night. If you guys missed our show, it was a 4-hour episode. It was really wild and really crazy, but it's good. We're having a good one. And as you can see behind me, we are starting the second round of this year's draft. As Jay said, tonight is round two and round three. I know the Patriots got one pick in each of the round. I don't know about the Dallas Cowboys, but hey, we're going to talk about last night. We're going to give you up some recaps, and we're going to also give you our surprise picks from last night's first round and also give you some updates from the second round. So, Jay, this is our first time back on Top 5 Sports Show in about 3 weeks. How's it feel?
Man, it feels long overdue, man. I've been missing hanging out and talking, just one on one with you about sports. So it's been long overdue. I'm excited. I'm excited that you're back and now we're grooving again. So I'm just anxious to talk sports with you, to be honest with you, man. And last night was full of talking points, and I'm ready to dive into it, to be honest.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah, it was a lot of things going on. You had your family emergency, and I had my thing going on. So we're back, we're healthy, and we're ready to rock. And let's talk about the first round. So tell
Yeah.
me, as we all know, the first pick of the first round was obviously Trevor Lawrence going over to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then followed up with the Jets getting Zach Wilson, and then the 49ers making a surprising quarterback pick on getting Trey Lance over Mac Jones. Um, and then we had a surpriser also with the Atlantic Falcons with the fourth overall pick, picking up Kyle Pitts. So let's go ahead and start it off, Jay. Tell me, what was your biggest surprise impact on yesterday's first round pick?
God, there's and that's what the thing is, Frank. There were so many surprises in yesterday's draft. It's so hard to pick just one. But honestly, I really am surprised. I guess my biggest surprise amongst many was Trey Lance going to San Fran at that pick. I really had Mac Jones going there just because of how much Shanahan really liked that guy. I mean, everything was leading up. I mean, Shanahan was talking about him, talking about him, talking about him, and everybody said, "Okay, it's Shanahan's pick to do with what he wants." And he went away from what he had been talking about and just grabbed Trey Lance out of thin air. I don't know what made him change his mind when he was so strong about Mac Jones to now all of a sudden going to Trey Lance. That somebody must have either A, whispered something into his ear about something, or he must have seen something at the pro day game tape that maybe he said, you know what, maybe this guy isn't the right guy. I don't know. But I tell you, that to me, it really blew me out of the water. And that's one of the biggest ones. Real quick, I gotta say this. I gotta say two. You can't let me have just one because there's two really big ones. No, really, it was three big ones. Let me just give my three biggest ones. The second biggest one was the fact that Mac Jones slid all the way down to 15, and New England was able to wrap him up. That was huge. Really, that was absolutely huge. That Bill Belichick looks like a smart genius, and he didn't do a damn thing. Pardon my French, but he didn't do a damn thing. He just waited and waited and waited, and and just like in draft day, the top guy slid all the way down, and nobody saw it coming. And Bo, remember Bo Callahan. That's the number one pick. Bo Callahan slid. Everybody's like, well, Kevin Costner's character, like, what are you doing? Sonny. His character's name was Sonny. Yo, Sonny, what are you doing? Why are you passing up on this guy? Everybody's trying to figure out why. Well, for me, guys, it's a character thing. So now I'm wondering, well, what the hell? What happened to Mac Jones to make him slide? And what happened to Justin Fields to make him slide so far now? That's crazy how far they slid. Okay, that's the second thing. The third thing is Kyle Pitts. I really, really, really had Atlanta trading out of that fourth spot because let's be honest, Atlanta's got a lot of needs. And yes, I get it. Kyle Pitts is a generational guy. And because he is a generational guy, he really could have. I really think Atlanta could have walked away with multiple number one picks to trade up to get Kyle Pitts. I think there was teams out there that would have given up probably at least one or two number one picks. And the fact that they didn't, the fact that Atlanta went ahead and said, we're going to take Kyle Pitts. Well, what about all the rest of your holes? What are you going to do to fill all the other holes? But anyway, that was my three biggest ones, Frankie. That was my three biggest ones. And, man, that draft was just crazy. It was crazy how much it fluctuated. And I'll tell you now, I literally threw away my whole draft sheet. Once Trey Lance and Atlanta did their things, I just threw away the rest of my draft sheet and said, okay, it is what it is. What do you think, Frankie? We may have lost Frankie. That's okay. Well, we'll carry on. I'd be curious to know what a lot of you guys' number one picks or number two picks that you thought were the most surprising to you. If you go down through here, I guess another surprise to me was Jamar Chase. I get it. Jamar Chase is, Joe Burrow's teammate from his LSU days. But let's be honest. If you're Cincinnati, why are you going for a wide receiver when you can't even keep your number one guy upright? Frankie, it's good to have you back. I didn't know if you. I thought you may have went to sleep.
No. I had to attend to my kids.
No, you're good. You're good. I figured I knew it had to be something like that. Hey, so
before you continue, hold on. I apologize to cut you off. But before you continue, as you can see behind me, Roger Goodell is about to make the 33rd pick of the second round, which is going to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we're about to figure out who they're picking. Well, I guess he's going to talk right now.
Oh, he's going to go through his little spillage before they go on the clock. I tell you that. But, hey, let me ask you this, Frankie. I'm pretty sure those were obviously your surprising picks as well. But what did you think? I really think the Bengals got the worst draft grade of all of this, only because how are you going to pick a receiver when Joe Burrow is laid up in the hospital or recovering from an injury that had him laid up in a hospital? How are you going to pick somebody when your biggest need is at the offensive line? You know what I'm saying? Like your biggest asset.
Right. I agree with you on that.
Classic Cincinnati stuff, and they fumbled the ball.
I also think that they should have picked up an offensive lineman as well. You do need the protection for Joe Burrow, especially after last season where he hurt his leg. And that point the picture that you need an offensive lineman to protect your quarterback. But I also see why the Bengals went and got Jamar Chase. They do need wide receiver. They need a fast and young wide receiver, and also losing AJ Green. They did not re-sign him. He is a free agent, and they need fresh legs for Joe Burrow to throw to. And in my opinion, I feel you say it's a bad pick. I say it's a good pick. But again, we're in the second round. We're in the third round, and we can expect that the Bengals we're probably gonna go and get an offensive lineman now. Hopefully, that's where they're focused at. If not, I expect that they'll make a move somewhere during the season to make a trade or something like that. But I totally understand what you're going from and what you're saying. The Bengals definitely missed out on getting a really top offensive lineman, and what's his name? I forgot his name. Penny Sewell.
Sewell. And hell, even Slater.
So, yeah.
Either one.
I mean, they could have got an offensive lineman, but they were thinking about that weapon, wide receiver. He's a really good wide receiver, and the connection that he had with Joe Burrow, it just makes sense. I understand why they went and got him, but they also should have got an offensive lineman.
Frankie, I want to ask you a question, man. This is where I'm struggling to understand how this is a good decision. I'm struggling, Frankie. I get your point too. I don't want you to think I don't get your point, because I get it. He does need somebody with fresh legs. He does need a wide out. But here's my problem. The first time he runs for his life and he gets tackled again, and those knee ligaments get snapped again. He winds up in the hospital. Nobody's going to care that they got Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Waddle, whoever else is out there, because their primary asset is laid up in the hospital with more broken ligaments. How are you going to get your best guy the ball if you're constantly running for your life?
Yeah, no, I agree.
And he had
that's why
such
I'm hoping. That's why I'm hoping that in the second round, and I'm not even a Bengals fan, but I'm hoping now in the second round they go and they look and they see now that they got the wide receiver that they should go and pick up that offensive lineman no matter who it is. I mean, it's not going to be a top lineman, but this is the time right now. You got your wide receiver. Now look for the offensive lineman and get him. Get him now. You got an early pick in the second round. Don't waste it on getting some dumb pick like a tight end or defensive player. No, get that protection that Joe Burrow needs.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. If they don't do that, then they're definitely doing him a really big, misjudgment, don't you think? I mean, that they don't, of course. Well, I'll tell you what.
The Jaguars are on the clock right now, and I am getting news that the Jets are the next pick after the Jags, and it looks like the Jets are getting interest from other teams to make a trade with that pick.
I'll tell you, they still have. You're right. I mean, they still have another really good offensive lineman on there, Levi Onwuzurike. I can't say his name right. Onwuzurike, Levi Onwuzurike, out of Washington. So, I apologize. I think he's a defensive tackle. Never mind. I apologize. I was looking at the available players left, and I thought defensive tackle was offensive tackle. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to look to see who's left out that they could possibly draft that would still be available on the. And it looks like Jalen Mayfield. He's ranked 35 out of Michigan. And he's a sophomore out of Michigan, Jalen Mayfield. So maybe that might be the right guy that the Bengals could target. Let me look and see real quick where the Bengals are drafting right now in this particular draft. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm going to pull this up real fast. I don't know if my computer works correctly. So round 2, pick by pick. Let me look at this bad boy here. All right, so they are current. Where are the Bengals drafting at, Frankie? While I'm pulling this up, do you know right offhand where they're drafting?
That what?
Ooh. Oh, they got the number 6 pick. So Bengals are drafting at number 6 in the second round, and Jalen Mayfield is a 35th ranked player still left available, and he's an offensive tackle. So maybe they could pick up Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan to fill that spot, like you were talking about on that O-line. I mean, certainly, I don't think the Bengals really necessarily need to trade up for him because right now you got the Jags, you got New York. Well, I take that back, though. You still got New York out there, and New York needs to upgrade their offensive line for that freshly minted quarterback under Zach Wilson. So I wouldn't be surprised, to see New York pick an offensive lineman. I wouldn't be surprised to see, Philadelphia possibly pick up an offensive lineman. What do you think, Frankie?
I agree. They all literally need offensive linemen, especially Philadelphia. But with the Jets, they are next. Like I said, they're next after the Jaguars to make a pick, but they are getting interest right now from other teams for a possible trade. I'm getting updates on Twitter from Adam. I'm watching Adam Scheffner and Ian Rappaport. So let's just wait and see if the Jets make a trade. If they do, I do expect the Bengals to go ahead and pick up an offensive lineman, even if they're the 6th pick in the second round. I guarantee that one of these good linemen will definitely be available.
Yeah, right. And there's still
the pick is in.
Yeah, who do we go with?
The pick is in, ladies and gentlemen, for the Jaguars. We are still waiting for Roger Goodell to come on out and announce who is
Oh no,
the
Roger Goodell
33rd
is doing it. I think
overall
they got
pick.
the other guy doing it now. I think Roger Goodell is done for the evening. Now we got the assistant guy doing it.
Yep, with the
Cameron
33rd pick
Pardon.
in the NFL draft, they're going with Georgia's cornerback Tyson Campbell. It's a very good pickup for them that fills in the spot that they missed with Jalen Ramsey, and this is a really good pick. I'm surprised that they went and picked him up in the second round. They could have picked him up in the first round.
Oh, absolutely. I think that was a good pick. I mean, considering how many went in the first round, what we have like it was it three? We had three cornerbacks go in the first round. So the fact that Tyson Campbell's still there, and he's a tall guy, he's 6'1", and I really would like to see more of a 6'2" or 6'3", maybe a 6'4" guy. But at 6'1", I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah, so the surprising pick for me in the first round's got to be Kyle Pitts going to the Atlanta Falcons. We
Yeah.
expected that the Falcons were going to go with a quarterback and look for the future of replacing Matt Ryan, but it looks like that they're going to stick with Matt Ryan, and it looks like that they're fully 100% behind Matt Ryan and taking him into the playoffs and hopefully a Super Bowl. I don't think that's going to happen. It's good that they got Kyle Pitts because he can be a really good tight end for the next 4 years for the Falcons, but they missed out on a very good quarterback. They could have got Mac Jones, but they just didn't get him. They could have got Justin Fields as well, and they didn't. But they went with a tight end, and that was an okay pick. But the Falcons need a quarterback. You cannot expect Matt Ryan to be there forever. He's getting old, and he's just not that relevant quarterback that he used to be anymore. And I just don't know why they went and didn't get a quarterback.
I'll tell you, hey, this is my opinion, but the quarterbacks that were available for Atlanta were good quarterback, not bad, but they're okay selections. But when you got a generational guy like Kyle Pitts, I don't know if I'm going to go against generational guy because generational guys only come along every so often. And I think at that particular pick, when you got decent quarterbacks, but not necessarily elite, I don't think that they're elite. I think you got to go with the better pick. And the better pick was Kyle Pitts. I think he is just such a generational guy for what he can do for that team. And let's be honest, I think he got maybe 2 or 3 more years left in Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan's still young enough. I think he get about 2 or 3 years left in him. And let's be honest, Kyle Trask is still on the board. I don't like Mills out of Stanford. I don't like Mond out of A&M. But I think Trask might not be a bad project quarterback to put in the fold. But I think that honestly, if you look at Atlanta, they got more holes than just a quarterback to fill. They got defense to fill. They still have that. They need secondary. They need edge rushers. And I think that the weight of holes far outweighs when they can still ride a few more years in those tires on Matt Ryan. What do you think, Frankie?
Yes, I agree with you. Matt Ryan, man, I don't think he's gonna stick there long. I give him about another maybe 2 years with the Falcons. Um,
Yeah.
there's not gonna be any good quarterbacks come next year. Next year is not a quarterback draft. I expect next year to be a wide receiver, running back draft, even tight end. But this was the year to get the quarterback. But hey, I'm a Patriot fan, and I'm glad that they didn't get Mac Jones or Justin Fields. It's sad that Justin Fields went over and is now the quarterback for the Chicago Bears, but we got Mac Jones, and I'm proud of it. The
Hey, let
Jets
me ask you
are
a question,
sticking with their
Frankie.
pick, and they are not looking for a trade. Go ahead.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you think, because this is what I'm kind of thinking the Bears got the steal of the draft. Do you think they got the steal? Or do you think that New England got the steal? I think both of them got, good selections compared to where they were drafting at. But do you think that based on how good, what the mentality is of Justin Fields, do you think that the Chicago Bears got the steal of the draft?
Yeah, they definitely got the steal. They got their quarterback. They also got, let's not forget, they got Nick Foles. And they also got Andy Dalton. So
Yeah,
Justin Fields is going to learn under two great quarterbacks, and he's gonna do great things for the Chicago Bears. But the question is if Chicago can keep the weapons that they got right now for Justin
right,
Fields.
right. That's true. That's
But
very
but it
true.
was smart. It was a smart move for the Chicago Bears to trade up with the Giants to grab Justin Fields, because the real question is if they didn't do that, who would the Giants would have picked up at the 11th or 12th spot?
Right.
Um, who they got? And if they didn't get a quarterback, who would the Patriots have picked up? Would we have grabbed Justin Fields, or would we would have sticked with Mac Jones? I do not know. But for safe instance, if the Patriots would have went and grabbed Justin Fields at number 15, where would that left Mac Jones? Where would he would have went?
So I agree. And that's the thing, man. Honestly, it's amazing to me. So Chicago, like you just said, they have more than enough quarterback experience to carry their team. They don't have to put just the Fields out there right now. They don't have to. They can rest him. They can let him gain experience. They can let him get used and memorize the playbook and become very familiar with the playbook. Take practice reps and practice and get familiar with the wide receiver that they have with that playbook without taking necessarily the wear and the tear on the body, learning the playbook, much like Joey Burrow had to and Justin Herbert had to do. So that experience, that ability to sit him for 1 year. I'm not saying, look, you're not going to just sit him forever. And they've already come out and said that, hey, look, they told Dalton, hey, look, you got 1 year here to be a starter. You got that. We're going to guarantee you that 1 year here to start. And we're going to put, Fields in the background and let him learn up underneath your tutelage. But I'm going to tell you right now, but like the Bears said, he's going to get 1 year to learn the playbook, 1 year to get accustomed to taking snaps with the first team. But at the end of the day, you're here to give him time. You're here to give him help to learn how to be a quarterback in the NFL. And at the same time, you're going to be a starter for another year in the NFL to do what you got to do. So I think it works out for both parties.
Right.
I think Dalton gets another year as a starter. And I also think that Justin Fields gets a lot more time to get used to that playbook. So when he steps on that field, he's going to be a total success and not a bust for the Chicago Bears. And the Chicago Bears got a great opportunity here if they don't screw it up, and I don't think they will.
Yeah, just a quick update news. The Atlanta Falcons are trading away the 35th overall pick to the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are now on the clock. And the Jets stuck with the 34th overall pick, and they went and picked up a wide receiver from Ole Miss, Elijah Moore.
Let me ask you that. What do you think about that? What do you think about the Falcons trading out of that pick and giving it to Denver when they know they need people? They still have people left to draft. I mean, do you think that's a good pick, Frankie, or a good situation there, Frankie, for them doing that?
I don't understand why Atlanta is doing that when they know they need people. They definitely need a quarterback. They definitely need wide receiver positions, and they definitely need defense. Their defense is what was costing them games last year. Having the lead and then blowing it. So they definitely need key defenders. What I don't understand is why they're trading away picks. I agree with what you're saying. It's really weird, and especially to the Denver
Right.
Broncos. That makes no sense. But the real question to me is, what did Atlanta get in return for this trade? I do not know yet, but I guarantee that I'll be getting the news any minute now.
What did they say? What exactly the Falcons got in return for that pick? Like, what did they get in compensation for it?
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, good. I'd be interested to see what they got in compensation for that pick.
Yeah, no news yet, but
Okay, I'm sure
I'm
that will
definitely
come
gonna
out
get that
eventually
soon.
in the wash. Yeah, that's going to come out eventually.
Yep. So the Broncos trade with the Falcons the 35th and the 219th for the 40th and the 114th.
Wait a minute. So the
So they
Falcons
basically just
essentially
swapped the
traded back.
trades. Basically, yeah, the Falcons went from 35 to 40 and then went from 219 and they traded up to 114.
So they basically traded back so they could trade up in the other round. I don't know if
Yeah.
I like. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't like. I mean, I guess what the Falcons are saying is they believe that the guy that they want will be there a little bit later in the draft, and then they can move up in the draft. So I guess so. Basically, they're saying that they feel like the guy that they want is going to be where they need him, and that's why they made that trade. That's the only thing I can think of why that would make sense. I don't know if I agree with
I don't
it.
know, but this is good. This is a very good way to start the second round. We already got our first trade in the second round of the draft, and it's early,
Oh yeah.
just 3 picks in.
Let me ask you a question, Frankie. Did you find it weird? That's another one of the big surprises, I guess, to me. Did you find it as a surprise that there weren't more trades in the first round of the draft?
Not really. I expected at least some of the teams at the very end to at least trade. You know, like the Buccaneers or something like that. I expected that to happen. But
Right.
I also didn't expect that every team within from number 1 to at least 22 needed somebody. You know, you had the Steelers, the Browns, Patriots, Cowboys, Giants. Everybody, they all needed somebody. So I expected all those teams to keep their picks, but the teams that were later in the draft, they didn't make any trades except for the Kansas City Chiefs, but that wasn't during last night. It was basically a couple of days before the draft
Right.
started where they traded an offensive lineman to the Baltimore Ravens. But other than that, I expected the Buccaneers to trade the 32nd pick, but they didn't. They kept that, and I also expected the Buffalo Bills to trade, or at least get a running back, but they didn't. They kept it,
Right.
and they got a defender.
What do you like better in your running backs? When you're looking for a running back, what do you like better? Do you like the 5'10", 210 pound guys, or do you like the 6'1", 230, 240 pound guys for a running back? What do you prefer there, Frankie?
I like like kind of like a big, stocky, powerful guy, like a Brandon Jacobs. You know, I want to see somebody run straight up the middle, shoulder pad to shoulder pad, and just tuck the defender away. But that's not what we get now. What we get now on running backs are small, skinny guys who are quick and on the feet and are good slot receivers that could turn into slot receivers. I apologize. Going out and getting the outside passes, being the
Right.
fifth wide receiver. So I can, a lot of things change, but I love a big 6'3" pounder, like 230 something pounds or even more, and just run straight up the middle. Someone like Marshawn Lynch, Brandon Jacobs, all those guys.
Oh, I love it. I love a Brandon Jacobs type of runner. That guy, because Brandon Jacobs kind of reminds me of the Bus. You know, a big,
Yeah,
stocky kind of guy that can power his way through the line. You know what I mean?
right.
I was looking at the guy that just took the guys that the Broncos just drafted was 5'10" and right around, or it's 5'10", 214 pounds, 210, 214. And to me, that's a small, elusive, it's a small but very elusive type runner. And I'm going to run to send him with a running back to get a bigger guy, but I don't think the best available is going to afford them that.
Now the Broncos traded up. The Broncos traded away the 31st or the 33. I'm sorry, hold on. Yeah, they traded the 35th pick with the Dolphins. Right? Wait,
Yeah, they did.
the Broncos
Like
traded up
I
over
like
the
the Najee
Dolphins. Oh,
Harris
no. I
guy.
read it wrong. I read it wrong. I apologize. The Broncos traded up over the Dolphins to grab running back Javonte Pookie Williams.
Javonte Pookie. I love that name, Pookie. Give me Pookie.
And now the Dolphins, with the 36th pick, go ahead and pick up Oregon safety Javon Holland. That was a quick pick for the Dolphins.
Yeah, that
just
was
like
a
they
very,
already
that was
knew
a
who they were
very
going to get.
quick pick. That was a very quick pick. Yeah. What did you think about? I liked the fact that Elijah Moore, not to rewind for a second, but I like to rewind for the Jets picking Elijah Moore to give Zach Wilson somebody to throw to out of Ole Miss. He's a. I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be a pretty good. He was very poor, huh?
He's gonna be a bust. I could care less.
Hey, that's a true Patriots fan talking about a rival Jets player. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Jay, we hit our half-hour mark. Is there any final words that you want to get? Because it's the second round, and I want to sit back and at least enjoy the draft after 4 hours last night.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
I think we deserve to sit back and relax.
No, absolutely. Hey, for those of y'all that didn't catch it last night, man, I had a really good time going through the first round with Frankie and Logan. We had a really good time last night. And like I said, if anybody who watched that first round, if you had a mock draft that you wrote on paper, by that third or fourth pick, you were tearing it up.
Breaking news. The Eagles have made a pick, and the Eagles have made a pick, and they're a trade after them. But with the number 38 pick, the Bengals had traded away their 38th pick.
They're idiots.
Guess to who? Guess to who? They traded away to the Patriots.
Well, Hey, there's a reason. Hey, there's a reason why the Bengals are in the position that they're in, because they're idiots. You've got to get an offensive lineman to protect your guy. What you have is not working, and yet you're going to trade away the pick to get an offensive lineman to the Patriots. Hey, granted to the Patriots, hey, good job for those. But that's why the Bengals are always going to be that team that doesn't do well. Boy,
I want to know why Bill Belichick went and traded up at the 38. I want to know who we grabbed.
Somebody. He had to have liked somebody that he felt wasn't going to be there when he was drafting.
All right. I'm going to sit back and wait. Jay's going to sit back and wait for the Dallas Cowboys. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time on our episode of Unscripted. It's going to be great. We're going to give you NFL draft recaps and much more, especially on our women's sports topic and many more. I don't know. Jay, is there any final words before we head out?
No, I just love being here. And don't forget to catch me, Frankie, and Logan and Melanie on Unscripted tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And until then, hey, appreciate you letting us come into your living rooms and talk to you guys about what we think.
That's right. Everybody enjoy your draft, and I hope your team picks up some good players. Have a good night and enjoy your weekend, everybody. See you tomorrow night.